Hello, this is Gwen again. Today is Wednesday, May the 17th, 2017, and the time is about 10:06 p.m. Today I'm going to talk about my vision for the future. This is also a part of my dead weight series, but I'm not going to talk about the dead weight. I'm going to talk about the people who are not dead weight. This one is going to be what it looks like with the dead weight gone. And we are all on the same page. So the title of this one is When All Blacks Are on the Same Page, Vision of the Future. In my description box, I'm going to say I describe what could happen if we were on the same page as black people. Now, my subtopics are going to be lifestyle, entertainment, education, discipline, economy, medical, worship, love and mating, social, and the final result. So it might take a minute or two to do this one. I'm gonna pause it here and drink some water and get ready. Okay, let's look at lifestyle. Now, and before I do that, the reason why I'm doing that is because I want us to really make an effort to get on the same page because most of our problem is that our mind isn't ready to do it. But this stuff you can almost do immediately if you're thinking right. If you think about it and just do it. A lot of people are unemployed. That's our labor pool right there because those are the people who've got the hands to go ahead and get started. The rest of us, some of us that were still working, we're the economic base to go ahead and start spending the money. And I also do expect for some white people to buy things. I don't have a problem with white people buying from us. What I have a problem with is white people not buying from us as much as we buy from them. So, with that in mind, I mean, I wish we did feel the love that we give everybody else, but we don't. So, we got to deal with that reality. So, this right here will hardly say a word about white people because I'm presuming that on this that they're already out the picture. That's part of being on the same page, and the dead weight is already marginalized. So these are the people that are left that I call the live weight. So let's start with lifestyle. The lifestyle will be the same type homes on the outside. It's going to be the inside that's going to be having the different stuff. And this home life is family focused. You buy food from a local black farmer. We'll have home, yeah, it could be home delivery, a market where you go to a market, or a vendor route. You remember how, I don't know if y'all remember, but when I was little, they used to have something called a watermelon man. This is an individual that had a pickup truck. And they load the back of the pickup truck with local produce. And this person will drive around from neighborhood to neighborhood in the black community, street to street, calling out vegetables. He'll call out. He got onions, got this, got that, and we'll hear the call. And um, relatives, our grandmothers and mothers, would go out and basically surround the trunk and get a couple of onions, couple of potatoes, and something for dinner. But it's ripe and it's local. Get carrots, potatoes, or cucumbers, eggplants, whatever he had on the truck. Might get a watermelon, might get cantaloupe. The water, and that was one of the last times in the world that you had sweet, fresh, ripe watermelon. Might get peaches, might get all anything, peppers, and it was sweet and it was ripe because it was locally produced and ripened in the sun. Right now, kids don't even understand that vegetables are supposed to ripen in the sun, or fruit is supposed to ripen in the sun. That's how you get the nutrients, and you can almost taste the sunshine in them because it's warm, it's sweet, it's strong flavored, and you know that that's right. The stuff we get now isn't. It's something else, something different. I'd like to, for us to get back to those local farmers who have healthy fruit and vegetables. So, by black farmer, it is the farmer that's supported. When I look on web pages for organic farmers, I see where white people have farmers where they have a network or a co-op set up where you can buy, say, for a season that's 3 months. They'll deliver you a weekly batch of vegetables every week for a fee. Like you might give $400 for a whole season of vegetables, and I'm talking about big piles of vegetables delivered to your doorstep every week. I forget how much it is, but you can look at that. And I would like for us to learn from them and do something like that. That'll work. Or you could have a community chef. That is a restaurant or somebody that you can pay once a week to make food for your family, and all you do is pick it up. A family of four, they'll make you four servings of meat, and y'all agree on the side, four servings of vegetables, four servings of this, four servings of that, and it'll be a specific amount that you can pick up either every day or once a week or whatever y'all agree on. Anyway, it'll be your chef or somebody that cooks for you. And or else finally you might just go to a farmer's market of black farmers where you just like a bazaar or a like the vending booth, things like that. You can go to that. So whatever it takes to get food bought from a black farmer on that part. Now I have furniture is made by an artisan or from a black craftsman. Furniture is artisan furniture from a black craftsman. This is an easy one, actually. You know that unfinished wood furniture or even secondhand furniture that you see out off the side of the road or that you get at an auction. If you get that stuff, clean it off real good and refinish it, strip it down, refinish it with black craftsman designs, that'll sell. Not just sell for big dollars. And I'm not talking about no big old dollars where nobody in the community can afford it, where you trying to put your kid through college on one piece of furniture, but at a reasonable good price for something like that, people will buy it. Picture this, a dresser that you bought secondhand at I guess a garage sale. You stripped it down and it's um, completely stripped off and it's down to the bare wood, and you're an artisan, and so you think of a nice design to paint on that, like red and green and black flower or Egyptian design, and then stain it, wood stain with that design on top, and refinish it, and you got something that people will buy because it's beautiful and it's an artisan piece. It's not just refinished, you did an artisan piece. That kind of stuff, you just increase the value of that plus the aesthetic beauty of it. Some Anybody would be glad to have something like that in their home. Even if you went to the unfinished wood store and bought those and then refinished them or just finished them in something beautiful, you've got things that are marketable. That's an easy one. I mean, I passed by stores and things like that, saw something beautiful, and turned my head every time I passed by it because it was so lovely. It was something I couldn't afford, but anyway, but it was pretty, and I know that it disappeared. So if you got a whole bedroom set or something like that that's sitting in a window that's looking beautiful, people will buy that. I suspect you wouldn't even be able to keep them in your store if you sold it at a reasonable price and it's astonishingly beautiful. People will grab that, and not just black people, but anybody would grab that. Okay, so furniture is from artisan furniture from a black craftsman. I would like for every major city, to have at least one black furniture craftsman, and if not several, because each craftsman would have their own style, and the local population will choose various styles for various reasons. Not everybody likes modern or Art Deco. Not everybody likes Egyptian or Grecian or Rococo. There's going to be various styles, and I suspect some of these talented people that I see every day will create a new style or two. And so that's going to be the black renaissance, the new black renaissance. It's where they can create that kind of stuff because you already have the talent. And if you go and spend about And let's say you don't even have $100 in your pocket. Let's say you got about $50. Grab something out of a yard sale. Grab something out of a secondhand store. Strip it off. That's just work. Strip it off. Buy some sandpaper and strip that off. All that is work. That's not more money spent. That's work. It's elbow grease. Get somebody to loan you about a hundred or two, $100 to $200 at the most. Not even $100 really. To get varnish. Varnish is 12, about $15 for a quart. But also shellac is pretty inexpensive. And a few cans of regular oil-based black paint or gold paint and green paint and yellow paint. And make yourself a beautiful design. Put that on that piece of work that you bought. Varnish over it, and you got a beautiful piece. Even if you stain it, like that wood stain, which is about $12 a bottle too. Put the wood stain on there like oak or maple, and then put the beautiful black African design that you got in mind and put on there. Could be geometric, could be circular, could be organic, could be um, unformed. But make this beautiful design on there and then varnish over it. And it's a beautiful artisan piece. Okay, and you can do that for about $100 at the most, and then sell it. If you got more money, you can buy more pieces and make a set and sell those. You can sell them online, sell them on eBay just to get yourself started if you don't have a storefront. You can even put it in a consignment shop to get yourself started. That's immediate. You can do that. You can do that tomorrow. If somebody has bought you a Game Boy or something like that, then there's a resource there. If you can't find a job and your family's trying to help you out and stuff, go ahead and get started on that kind of thing. Especially you young people, the young teenagers and things. That's a good place to start if you're interested in that kind of thing or you have a talent. If you're one of the ones that are sitting at home and every time you pick up a pencil, you're drawing a picture, I'm talking to you. Picture this. You got a bureau or a wardrobe, right? Upright wardrobe. If you take one of those pictures that you're drawing and put that on that wardrobe, color it in and varnish it, on top of the paint stain, wouldn't that be beautiful? Now picture this again. If you take some of those other pictures that you draw with your same style, different pictures, and put it on a dresser and a nightstand and maybe a headboard, just various pictures that you draw, stain them, stain, do wood stain on there to get it oak or maple, and then put those paintings on top of it, those beautiful pictures that you draw, varnish it over so that it can be usable as furniture. Do you not think that won't sell? Okay? That's what I mean by immediate. You can do that today. Put your name on there so that nobody else will be you. That's the other part of this type of industry. This is going to be based on individual hands working on this. So that's why I keep saying sign this, sign that, sign your work so that your name will be making itself. You will be making a name for yourself. So Jamel does furniture and Jamel Washington signs his name on his furniture so you and people will be describing it as a Jamel Washington piece. I bought a Jamel Washington piece in 19, 2005 or something like that, or 2015 or 2018. Whatever, they will describe their work as a Jamel Washington piece. And you can crank those out based on whatever you're interested in. You might draw cartoon figures like from a comic book strip, but if you put your original pieces on there that you do, that's money that you can make, and that's a cottage industry that you are making from us in your home, in your bedroom, as you work them. You don't. I mean, that you are the arms and legs for this future community because you don't have the nobody's helping you do nothing else, so you got to help yourself. Nobody's giving you a job because they're trying to make you be a burden to the community, but you don't have to be. You can be the builder of the community. So that's what I mean by artisan furniture. Now, clothes made by tailors and seamstresses. seamstresses, lady clothes makers. I'm just going to hereby say clothes makers here on out because I can't say that word. I spelled it, but I can't say it. Now, these are clothes that are going to be the new African American look. By us being on the same page, that means us making the same or similar decisions. So one of these decisions is to change the way we appear. Yeah, we are going to start wearing designs made by each other. That is, the tailor here is going to be making men's clothes, and various tailors are going to be in that local community all over the country making clothes for the local people, and we're going to buy it from them. Not going to go into the main chains in the your dress barns and your other places where we just buy the clothes that are made from sweatshops overseas, where they're just constantly selling that to us, but not really helping our economy, our local economy among black people. Right now, we haven't got to the point where we have been able to design and produce our own fabric, but we can buy fabric, and we can buy it from local, regular old places that sell fabric. But when we put it together, we can put those together our way. And that's what I mean. Now, fortunately, with urban clothes and African clothes, they're simple designs, not a lot of seams and darts, but really draped clothes that flow. Because our figures, the way we're built, makes the shape of the clothes. Our curvy bodies on women and our broad shoulders bodies on men make the shape of our clothes. And we've always traditionally wore loose fitting clothes. Even the men's blue jeans and shirts are loose fitting. These modern blue jeans and t-shirts that we wear now, the young men, those aren't tight clothes. Those aren't worn like Western people wear their clothes. We wear clothes loose fitting. Even when they're made to fit, we wear them oversized. So we buy oversized pants and oversized shirts. That I say that that's a holdover from our look of African clothes, because African clothes were loose fitting. But if you take that shirt, that t-shirt that that young man wears, and just take it and hang it up next to an African shirt, they're very similar in size and shape. It's just different fabrics because it's a holdover from that original size and shape. Same thing with the pants. Those loose fitting blue jeans that that young man might have on are the same shape as those loose fitting African pants that African men wear. Same shape. Loose fitting, loose around the hips and legs, and barely able to stay up on your body, bunching at the ankles. Same thing, same cut. We need to capitalize on that, I believe. So, since they are such simple designs, Bob down the street, little or Jamel, or I guess what other African or black man's name you want to call him, that wants to think about doing fabric and design and tailoring, they can do that. So I have down here, let me click my thing so I can read what I got. I got down here, well, not right there, but basically, clothes can be made by these local seamstresses and tailors, and they can either have an online presence and or a local presence, but really want a local presence so I can walk into your store or vending booth or wherever you sell at and pick out my stuff and go away with it. If we're all on the same page as all the people who are left on the same page that aren't the dead weight, we'll go in there and buy your stuff. If you designed it and sewed it up and signed your name on it. It can even be similar suits where you can number them if you want to. Sign and number them. Have a tag in the back or something, or even at the ankle. Have a special label made, like Jamel Washington, number 50 of 100, or number 5 of 25, or number 1 of 4. Whatever. You can do that. And that will become your niche and your stick, your gimmick, your whatever. Okay, your kick. So do that. You can do that. That's almost immediately. Just start making clothes. That is if you already can sew. If you can't sew, then you can get your stuff out of a secondhand store. But whatever, and I'm gonna come back to the clothes thing in a little while. But just clothes made by seamstresses and tailors, clothes made locally. And these tailors and seamstresses will be several in each community, so that each one that shows their particular style will have their own customer base. But this what happened this is with us, contingent on us all being on the same page and choosing to buy from each other. I don't have no problem buying all African clothes. I would love it. Excuse me. I I don't have no problem with that. Not going into another I guess Jessica London or whatever, Romans, and all of them. I don't have no problem not going back to them. I would love to buy some African style tunics and loose fitting pants and flowy clothes that just drape on my body versus having a lot of seams and buttons and things like that. I don't mind not wearing that, but that was the thing about African clothes that I like about them, is that they're loose fitting and they do have seams, but it's not a lot of stitching all over the place, and it's just hems and loose fitting clothes that that are extraordinary and graceful. That's what's graceful about it, is that is the flow, and we're some of the only people who can wear clothes like that because of the way we move. We move graceful. We move with our head up. I think that's one of the reason some of the other people don't like us, because no matter what, we look good. We look good, and despite how bad we're beaten down, they're trying to knock us down, and we just keep falling down gracefully. And, but that's just us. You know, that's the way it is. So tailors and seamstresses doing clothes, shoes made by a local cobbler. We have we spend a lot of money. Young people spend a whole lot of money on shoes. They shouldn't, and they should not have to. Black people can make their own shoes, just like people from all over the world can make their own shoes. We can too. All we got to do is learn how to do it, and we can do that. For this next level is entertainment. Now, entertainment that I'm talking about for us would be a new thing, something never before seen. In fact, I would like for us not only to get our own networks, I want us to get our own satellites. Yes, satellite or else satellite space, because I want us in full control. But right now, we're already got some of this stuff that I'm getting ready to describe is already online. It's already available. It's already available. It's right there. Only thing we got to do is just refine it and support it a little bit. Just yeah, and structurize it, get it structured and focused, and we're right there. Just formalize a little bit. So in this case, in the with all of us on the same page, mainstream media will not be used. We'll use our own networks. Only reason we'll use mainstream media is to stay informed on what they're doing. But we won't be watching those shows that are on networks now, like anything that's on TV, like your Scandals or your Empire or your whatever the hell that other thing is everybody's watching, Love and Hip Hop, or the reality shows. All of those are really indoctrination shows, indoctrinating you to something that's not good for black people, indoctrinating your kids into false senses of who we are or who we want to be. We might be whatever it is negative now in some cases, but that's not really what we should limit ourselves to. So, since that is such a bad influence on our minds, since it is such subliminal negative stuff, we don't have to watch that. I don't watch that. I don't watch Love and Hip Hop and Empire. I know when I'm being brainwashed. And there are some I quit. I used to watch that show Sleepy Hollow, and I may or may not actually finish it. I don't think I did. I think I deleted it after the girl died. I think I deleted it because I was saving it on my DVR, and I was planning to finish off that series for that net for that one. But after at some point, I just stopped watching it because it stopped being what I thought it should be. I saw indoctrination happening, and I could see the dynamics, and I was already kind of miffed at it. And then finally, I just stopped. I never did watch Scandal. I saw I could see brainwashing like that a mile away because we are prone to subliminal brainwashing because we're such creative minds that stuff that goes in there gets imprinted deeply. So we got to be careful about what we actually do let come before our eyes because that is uploading a virus in our brain. That's exactly what happens. So we got to be careful of that. So I say that mainstream media won't be used. We'll be using our own networks. We'll watch our own series, videos, animation, and information shows. And then, if we do need to see news or anything like that, we have to have a debrief, a family debrief for it. That is, whoever's watching that gets to sit down and we explain it and look at each other. You know that movie Get Out that everybody's talking about? What I like about the dynamics of that movie was that not the movie itself, but our reaction to it. What we're doing is you go, if you type in Get Out on YouTube, you'll see commentary after commentary after commentary about that movie. Those aren't commentaries, those are debriefings. They don't think of them as debriefing, but that's exactly what a debriefing is, where they take apart everything that they saw and explain it to the audience. I like Dr. Umar Jackson debriefing. He don't call it a debriefing, but that's what he did. I like some of the other ones, quite a few of them really. Everybody that had something to say about that did an excellent job because they debriefed it and they explained, they pointed out scenes and dissected them. That's what you got to do for everything that you see that white people put out because the same things are going on. So we got to debrief. So if you have a household with kids watching TV and they're watching white people stuff or mainstream media stuff, you need to debrief your whole household and y'all sit down and discuss what y'all saw and all the subliminal messages that were in there that was designed to attack your brain and make you indoctrinated to what their agenda is and priority is. That's how you got to watch that. So I'm saying that if you do watch white people stuff, that's what you got to do. Okay? But if you do watch black people stuff, you also need to be careful about what they're showing because it might not be appropriate for your family. Now, we already have our own video series, animations, and information shows. We just don't have it formalized and it's not being supported. That's why I keep saying I want a network. A network as in like YouTube is a network, or they might call themselves something else, but we also have things like Funimation and Netflix and all of those. So I want to have a platform, some sort of platform that we can pull off of for these type of things. Right now, we don't have it formalized and we don't have it supported, but these things are already available to us. Those shows that I'm talking about, video series, animations, and information shows, all of that's already available. We're getting it from various places. I would like to have that formalized and structured. And for this new black lifestyle, it would be because it's supported. We're paying for it. Not no big old dollars, but a lot of people paying little dollars makes for support of a platform. Now, for commercials, we'll be having black sponsored commercials and that would be focusing on what we need and our priorities instead of the mainstream commercials, which are ill suited for us. And in this case, for us, we won't be caring whether we're in their media shows or not because we have our own. I cannot stress enough how much I don't mind not being in their stuff because that means we don't have to put them in our stuff. So that works for me. Okay, now books. I love books, but I don't have time to sit down and read a lot, but I do. Um, when I'm driving, I listen to audiobooks by the author. Like some of them are like Audible and Aha and some of the other places that have audiobooks. We should have a big old network of authors who have read their audiobooks and have them online for an author for us to buy individually as a black owned bookstore full of audiobooks where authors have read their books from every subject that they're writing about, from education to fiction to science fiction, fantasy, whatever they write about, they can read that book, create an audiobook based on their narration of their own book, and post that. And black people can support that website by and being able to download those books or download the books individually. So that's something that's available and able, uh, that's readily available as for us to do any second, anytime we want to. All we got to do is just have that there and do it. That's information available. Got plenty of black authors, plenty of black people who want to read, plenty of black people who want to buy books. So just make audio books and we can download those from on a website, or even a link to a website, like the author can provide a link to their website and we'll download it individually from that author. Education. It should go without saying that I'm advocating homeschooled, 100% homeschooled. People on the same page need to under they already understand that their kids need to be homeschooled. The live weight already understand that their kids need to be homeschooled. So what I'm talking about is an extension of what we already got, and that is a homeschool network or platform focused on lessons from education, from people K through 12 education. That is, you homeschool your child, say the first 3 hours of the morning, and you put them on a homeschool network where they're got that's focused on the particular grades of your kids. Like if you got a second grader and a sixth graders, you put them on their individual lesson plan that's on TV from that black network. Okay, the black homeschooling network, the black homeschooling class, and they can all be on the same class at the same time. That is your first grader, and they have various ones for various grades all on at the same time for the first 3 hours. Then the next 3 hours you and the kids can be spending time in support of that and reinforcing that. And your best teachers for your younger kids are the older kids. They are absolutely the best teachers. I taught my younger cousin. She was in the first grade and I was in the sixth grade, and I taught her stuff. And she became an A student because I already knew the stuff, so I taught her the stuff. And she became and set off a A student and set up a competition among her friends. So all of them grew up to go to the advanced school in that city based on their grades. They all grew up to go to the most advanced school in the city based on their grades because they competed from that. But really, the older kids are the best teachers for the younger kids. These this K through 12 education network should be tested by social workers and educational professionals that are black, and it should be approved, and it should have a self certification by self as in black people certify it by school psychologists, educators, and social workers, and they should be Afro melanin centric focused, and the school will be self-paced, so that the kid, even though they might be 6 years old, they might be wanting to do fourth grade work because they're able to. So that's what I mean by self-paced. They might be advanced. I suspect strongly that they would be advanced beyond those regular years. I've seen a lot of kids that were precocious and intelligent all the way up till they got to the first grade and went to school. And then they became brain dead. Well, they became mainstream and ordinary. Before they went to school, they were extraordinary. Then they became ordinary and slowly declined because they had to hold back and pace with the group. And the group goes with the lowest common denominator. So these kids were no longer extraordinary. They became ordinary. And I've seen that time and time and time and time and time again. And you have too, I'm sure. Wait, look at the little toddler that's in your household that's keeping up with everybody and everything. And then look at what's happened to them when they go to school. They're going to be ordinary. They're going to be really slow, and their brain's going to be open, and they you'll see if you haven't already. Okay, so that's what I mean by self-paced. Some of these kids could have jumped ahead if they were allowed to. Like I think our elementary kids can do quantum physics if you taught it to them step by step. Really. The next topic is home discipline, and discipline is taught at home as in home training. That's a subject I don't see a lot of. I don't even hear that word anymore, home training. Home training is when your parents in the household teaches you how to behave out in public. There are certain things we didn't do in public because we were home trained first. No adult in my family had to repeat anything to me once they told me to do it in public. If they said sit down, I shut up and sat my butt down. I did not argue because home training instilled in me that it was a bad idea to keep running my mouth when I was told to shut up. And they didn't have to shout or even be irritated. They say all they had to say was be quiet, stop talking, just a mild, polite voice. You don't want, and as a child, you didn't want that to go escalating because you were home trained. You did not want any escalation in anything. You shut up, you sat down, you did what you were told. You can say, Mom, can I get this in the store? And if she says no, then you shut up and you put it back. You might give a comeback one, but if the answer is no, then you shut up and you put it back. You can be sad, you can be sorrowful, but if the answer is no, it's no, and you shut up. Now, the kind mom would give you an alternative, but if that's not going to happen, then you shut up. You try to figure out another way or something. But what did you do is behave in public. Now, home training is about teaching proper behavior while young. And I'm going to say, trust me, you nip that in the bud because it's true. When I was young, I think a teenager, and the old folks kept saying the words nip it in the bud because they were referring to some bad kids, a bad toddler. And I said, okay, they always say that. I wonder what happened. And so I waited and I watched the toddler grow up when it wasn't nipped in the bud. And it's true. The toddler was a very bad individual. Did all kind of little bad, stupid stuff. Because the toddler that grew up to be a grown man was a out of control individual. And it didn't and there was more than one as a matter of fact, but they didn't grow up well because it wasn't nipped in the bud. And and so I'm saying I can see from experience that it's true. Nip it in the bud. So if you got a toddler that's out of control, wants to scream, throw tantrums, swing at you, you have to make sure that you make them understand that they shouldn't do that. So nip it in the bud because it's true. Most times, if you can explain to a child while a behavior is bad and explain what the right way is instead, they'll get it. And even if they don't get it right away, when you're out in public and you see another child acting bad, and you pull your child aside and say, you see that child over there acting bad, they ain't supposed to act like that. And the child will get it. Matter of fact, they will help teach other kids. Children get things if you tell them. They're not stupid. Okay, they get it. You got to be smart enough to explain it to them, though. You can't be stupider than the child. So if you explain it to them, they'll get it. Okay, and then the next thing is discipline begins with ourselves too. We need to behave properly as well. One of the stupidest things I ever see an adult do is having a screaming child at their feet, right? And they're screaming, shut up. You're talking too loud. And they're screaming louder than the child. So the child is screaming at them, yelling at them, and suddenly they scream louder than them and saying, shut up. It don't work. That's illogical. And the child knows it. And you shouting, they can hear the rattle of the roofs off the building, and you're telling the child, and your words you're shouting is for them to be quiet because they're making too much noise. Okay, that don't work. So what I'm saying is we have to set an example for the kids. And so all the things you're telling the child not to do, you've got to be able to handle not doing that yourself. Okay. So and just think of that's something to think about, and you have to do a lot of thinking about that one. Next one is economy. Buying black and spending black. Now, what I'm talking about is a self-made economy where your tailors, seamstresses, furniture makers, toy makers, cobblers, food processors, food preparers, groomers, and all other craftsmen. It's going to be a self-contained, self-made economy where people spend money with each other. Okay, that is everybody there is going to be spending money with each other. A cobbler is a shoemaker, by the way, and a groomer is a person that I'm using is a person that does hair and makeup and barbers and cosmetologists and things that are black. Now, cottage industry with ourselves, clothes makers. You buy. I was looking at the clock to see how long have I got. I do have a lot to go. So I was wondering if I should stop. I'm gonna give it an hour, and if I'm not done in an hour, I'll split this in two parts. So I'm gonna start off with the clothes makers. Now, a clothes maker is somebody that can that can already sew. Now, you can buy a few patterns. This is an example. Buy a few patterns, get some material, and you experiment. And then you learn pattern making by yourself. Might take a class, might just um, learn on your own. My mom could learn on her own. She made a pattern, made me a dress by hand that she sewed. I was 5 years old and she sewed me a dress, a beautiful dress that she cut the pattern, held it up to me. She made a pattern out of newspaper and she cut a pattern, held it up to me, modified it, held it up to me again, and she basically made this skirt of newspaper, and that was going to be my pattern that she cut and modified, and then she cut, and after she got the pattern like she wanted it, as she fitted it to me with newspaper, just plain on newspaper, as she fitted it to me, she cut the fabric, and then she sewed it, and it was a beautiful dress by the time she was done. And she did that by hand stitching with her fingers, needle and thread. She didn't do it on a machine. I was a little girl, and I remember that dress. It was beautiful. It's the cutest dress in the world. And so, yeah, you can make patterns. Learn to make your own patterns. Then you put it together, put your outfit together that you did with your own pattern, and then you sell it. A way you can sell it would be in a vending booth, um, on the street. You can sell it online, or you can sell it in a shop. You can sell it consignment. You can sell it by yourself. Okay? But you and your friends can wear each other's clothes that you all are making, as well as your own clothes. The whole neighborhood who's going to be on the same page will be wearing the clothes that you all make for us, because that's what we'll shop at. We'll be shopping at our local clothes makers. Now, if you can't sew, like I can't sew, but I have ideas now and then. If you can't sew, then go ahead and get your clothes from a secondhand store, just generic clothes, not no fancy labels, because those are already designs in themselves, but generic clothes, like a pair of plain old blue jeans without a designer label. Excuse me. Then implement your idea, like if you got an idea of putting studs on them or glitter or any of that, because that that is a new industry that was based on what you already decided to do. But there are other things you can do. You can paint designs on them. You can bleach them. You can do all kind of things. But these are going to be your ideas for you to do and trick them out. Just trick them out and sell them. And these are your secondhand clothes that you have modified, and you can resell those. You can sell those. Okay. And then finally, I'm gonna say about this economy and your clothes making thing is keep your receipts for tax purposes, because you always need to pay your taxes. Keep your receipts for tax purposes because you always need to pay your taxes. We don't want to be on the wrong side of the law because, well, that's not right. Because, well, we want to do all things above reproach, and we will. Now, we won't buy the things on TV commercials because we won't be seeing TV commercials. So that just negated a whole lot of junk that negated a whole lot of junk, and it also freed up a whole lot of money. We're not watching TV commercials. Picture that. Everything that you got your money to spend on, and you ain't seen a commercial about advertising it, right? You ain't seen a TV advertising, but you got money in your pocket. What you gonna do with that money in your pocket, and you ain't seen a TV advertising nothing? You gonna keep it. You gonna buy the things you need, and then you're not gonna buy what's on TV because you ain't seen it. Picture this: your kids ain't seen no commercial for Christmas. It's almost Christmas, and your kids have not seen one TV commercial advertising toys. Can you imagine how much money you save? Okay, not buying that latest fancy thing. Can you imagine? And you ain't watching TV commercials for shoes or clothes or none of that, right? So you ain't running out there buying them. That's what commercials are for, to make you go buy their stuff. You ain't seeing that. You ain't seeing no fast food commercials because the black TV network ain't gonna be showing you that. They're gonna be showing you black stuff, and it's gonna be stuff that's tailored to black needs and black wants. But you've already saved a lot of money because your appetite isn't whetted by focusing on what these TV commercials and people want to sell you. So that's already freed up a lot of money for our economy. So let me write it down. The kids want the latest toy because they won't see the toys. They won't even be talking to kids that have these toys because they're homeschooled. And by the time they get a little bit in age when they're homeschooled, and I'm talking about one first and second grade, they won't be caught up in the mainstream ten stream in the mainstream trends because they know that it's indoctrination versus helping you. Okay? Adults won't get caught up in buying their latest adult toys because they know that it's not in our best interest either. So you don't need the fancy $400 handbag. You don't need the fancy $7,000 watch. You don't need the fancy $600 shoes. Understand? You won't even be wanting the fancy $600 or $700 outfit because your self-esteem won't be tied to that. That's the kind of money you can save. Okay? So businesses in general should be online or local. And here's an idea for a virtual mall, and I just got a idea that I've been thinking about. And I would like to see a virtual mall for black businesses, a black business virtual mall. Now it's built, it looks like it, the way I see it is, looks like the floor plan, like you go into any mall, right? Any mall or shopping outlet place, and you see their directory, and they got all of their stores listed in this floor plan. Well, this virtual mall will be looking something like that with all those little squares and pretty little decorative things. And when you hover over it, it talks about where it is, or what it's focused on. So this is going to be it's going to be local and national. So when you hover over it and you say clothing here, you hover your cursor over clothing, and then all the clothing stores pop up by name, our region, or whatever search that the individual person wants to use. And I'm gonna focus on local. So the local clothing stores pop up. And then you want to go to women's, and you click on that, and then you scroll down to a women's store that looks like she sells what you want, and you click on that, and then it opens up with an introduction from the merchant, where they give a 30-second introduction. Hi, my name is so and so, and I sell X, Y, and Z. And they kind of pan and focus and show you what's in their store. Just them on camera looking, showing what's in their store, 30 seconds. And they give you just an introduction, and then they finish their introduction, 30 seconds, and then it closes out, and just shows up like a regular online store, where you got your categories of clothes and your categories of various things and your search box and all of that. I would like to see that. And in this virtual mall, the store owner will be paying for pay about $10 a year to be on this mall, and it's a virtual black mall, a local, and it's going to be national and local. You pay a small fee of $10. It'll be, the mall is obligated to build and promote itself, and it'll be cute and fun to use. And it only shows black businesses, and you get to see the owner's face, and you get to see them as they pan and look at, show the around what they do, like their jewelry. They might give a quick pan and show their jewelry on the camera, and just show that, because that to me will be fun, and I can find what I'm looking for, and it'll include everything from food to services, like building this or building that, like computer services and books and barbers, all of that, from every category of black business. And it's a virtual mall. It's colorful and bright and fun. Okay. So now the next category is medical. Medical in this lifestyle I'm picturing is focused on prevention. So you gotta, so we'll be certifying our herbalists and specialists in medicinal treatments with the usual disclaimers. And we'll recommend that you go to a doctor when you get ready because we don't want to be liable for something stupid. And the other second half of this focus on prevention is exercise. And the exercise in this case is going to be focused on martial arts training of some sort. Martial arts training of some sort. So medical is focused on prevention, herbal and medicinal, and exercise. Now, there are some things that you obviously need to go to the doctor for, and you need to be, if you're on the same page, then you need to be smart enough to know when. And nobody else should be having to tell you when and when not. But, and that's going to be up to you. Now, worship. Worship is going to be in-house worship and prayer anytime, day or night, as your family chooses or the individual chooses. It's going to be an in-house altar, just a little place that you pray at. And you can have your libations and love as you will, and your ritual as you will. And if you want to, you can go ahead and do it as a group outside of the home if you want to, of course. Love and mating. Simple. Black man is married to black woman. And the young people will be out meeting each other, of course, but we're gonna put the sacred back into the relationship. Right now, it's a get it while you can and grab it and do all kind of things seen on TV kind of stuff that ain't good for nobody. I'm not even convinced it's fulfilling, really, because the behavior doesn't look fulfilled. They don't look fulfilled. I'm looking at them. But then there are other couples who are great and they're into each other, and you can see that. But I'd be out there in the club. Last time I went, and I was just marveling about how the men have come up in the club and they with women they don't even like. You can tell they don't really like the woman they with. And me and my friend was just, my, because I'd be sitting out, I'm friendly in the club, and I sit out there and hang out with people. And me and this other young lady was standing there, and we were watching it, and said they don't even like each other. Wow! And she referred to it as them playing some kind of demented game with each other. And she's right; it was a demented game because you could tell the guys didn't like those girls. It was sad. So the next thing would be them working on that, and I'm probably going to have something more on love and mating and social, love and mating and social, and another time. But that's all I got for that right now, because that's all I wanted to focus on. Black man is married to the black woman. Now, now for the social part. Socialize is just black people socializing with each other. We go to local black restaurants, bars, etc. And um, if you go someplace owned by another group of people and you are insulted in any way, then you let us all know so we can all not go to that business. That's all. That so that we can all no longer go there. So we need to always know where you were mistreated, and we can always and document and tell us, and so we'll all no longer go there. And apologies are not accepted. You shouldn't have done it. Okay, so um, document that you were mistreated and prove it, and tell us what happened. Tell us everything. And if we decide that you were mistreated and truly mistreated, we're not going to go there. We shouldn't go there. We all should be on the same page and not go there. So that's now we come to the results, because I wanted to give you a picture of what I envision. And this is, I'm going to basically read this off to you. You step out of your door dressed in an outfit made by Tremel, the local tailor, or Terrell, the local tailor. You're wearing shoes and a bag made by Jacina, and that's a local lady who makes bags and shoes. You go to a black bookstore and buy some things, and then you go buy fresh ripe fruit from a local black farmers market. And you also get handmade toy made for your neighbor's baby shower. So you also go out and get a handmade toy for your neighbor's baby shower. You pass by a furniture store and look in the window, and you look at the hand finished wood bedroom furniture set that's varnished with designs on the surface, and marvel at its beauty. On the way back home, you stop and get fresh, wholesome bread made from a black bakery. Nice, fresh bread. When you do get back home, you and your husband follow up on any homework suggested by the Homeschooling Network channel for your children's grades. You build a supporting lesson based on those suggestions. For entertainment that evening, you all tune into the Black Animation Network and choose a few episodes on something great, and then you watch it. Finally, you use black soap and cosmetics for your bath. Then you go to bed listening to soothing black music downloaded directly from that black artist. That's the lifestyle I want, and that's basically what I see for our future if we do it. And lots of this stuff that I just named is stuff you can basically do now. But it takes a change of mind. You got to be able to believe and accept that you don't need to be in everybody's everything. You don't need to be in white people commercials or their stores or anything, because you have the tools right on hand to do it yourself right now. But you got to be able to focus and do it. And you got to be able to believe you can do it. And so go do it, because you can. It's already there. You got the tools in your hand. You can go to the secondhand store. You can go and get yourself some material. You can go ahead and learn how to make shoes and design them. All of that's in your hands. That's in my hands. This right here is my first step, but I got some things I'm gonna do. I make jewelry and some other things, and I'm gonna do a few other stuff because I got tools and skills. I might show you, maybe not, maybe might use my name, might not use my name, but I got some things I'm gonna do. This is stuff you can do right now. Do it, please. But first, we just got to get our minds straight. Now, the next series, I'm going to talk about the people that are called dead weight. This is for the live weight people, and most of the live weight people are already got some ideas forming right now. The live weight people are already forming ideas. They're already thinking about making bread and selling it to their friends. They're already thinking about making a pot of beans and getting a bunch of people to supply them some money every day, and they will cook for them and have them a dinner ready for them to pick up and take home in serving size in containers. Serving size containers are in a pot. They're formulating these ideas right now. I can imagine people right now thinking about how to make some outfits and sell them to their friends and whoever else will let them. There are people already thinking about how to get online and sell some things that they already make as crafts. So all we got to do is get on the same page, get our little virtual mall going, and we can find each other, and that's gonna be how we can change our economy in no time, because we're not spending our money on other people's stuff. That's the biggest thing to do to change your economy, is change your economy. Okay, this is the end of this one. I'm going to follow up and do some others later. Okay, this is about 1 hour, perfect timing. I'm out.